From KARK4 and Fox 16, this is a special report. Here's Mitch McCoy.
Public Information Officer for the Arkansas Department of Transportation. Just to kind of give you a very, very quick idea of how things will go. In a few minutes, the ARDOT, Arkansas Department of Transportation Director Lori Tudor, will begin with some opening remarks. Following that, certainly plenty of time for any questions you have. We also have arranged it so that outside media, we provided a number so they can text in and ask whatever, and we'll try our best to answer as much as possible. So with that, I'm going to bring over ARDOT Director Lori Tudor and also some others who will be prepared to answer any questions you have. So thank you.
Thank you, Parker. Thank you all for being here today. Early yesterday afternoon, on May 11th, a significant fracture in a steel beam that is crucial to the structural integrity of the I-40 Mississippi River Bridge between West Memphis and Memphis was discovered. This bridge is also known as the Hernando de Soto Bridge. This fracture was discovered by an Arkansas Department of Transportation consultant bridge inspection team that was under contract to perform a scheduled inspection of the bridge. Emergency services were immediately notified and the Memphis Police Department was dispatched. The bridge was closed to vehicular traffic and the river was closed to barge traffic as a safety precaution. Arkansas and Tennessee Departments of Transportation began immediate coordination to evaluate the severity of the issue. The I-40 bridge agreement between Arkansas and Tennessee is that ARDOT is responsible for routine and special bridge inspections, and TDOT is responsible for maintenance and repairs. Our states share the cost for those activities equally. ARDOT and TDOT have called in nationally known engineering experts in bridge forensics to help our forces to determine and perform a diagnostic evaluation. That evaluation is ongoing. Once this evaluation is complete, a remedy will be determined. It is too early to be sure, but we are hopeful that a short-term and a long-term solution will be made available. Our goal is to reopen the bridge as soon as possible while ensuring the safety of motorists and barge traffic. I have spoken with Clay Bright, the Commissioner of TDOT. They have obtained emergency contracting authority from the Federal Highway Administration. They are committed to using every tool available to quickly remedy this problem. Construction of the I-40 Mississippi River Bridge began in late 1960. It was opened to traffic in 1973. The bridge had a comprehensive seismic retrofit that was completed in 2011. This work provided seismic strengthening of the foundations and other bridge elements. It did not make any modifications to the fractured steel beam because this beam is not vulnerable to seismic event loading. This bridge carries 41,000 vehicles per day. Of that, 30% are commercial motor vehicles. This bridge is a vital link for freight east and west of the Mississippi River. The Mississippi River is a waterway that is crucial to barge traffic and movement of commodities. This event highlights the importance of ARDOT's bridge inspection program, which is based on nationally accepted bridge inspection standards. This fracture had the potential of becoming a catastrophic event that was prevented by our staff's diligent efforts in managing our bridge inspection program. ARDOT has 27 bridge inspection teams across the state, in addition to hiring and managing consultant teams to supplement our staff. In 2020, we performed 10,384 bridge inspections on state highways, county roads, and city streets. I am very proud of ARDOT staff and thankful for their efforts every day to protect the road users of Arkansas. It's a tough job that goes unnoticed, but today it's noticed. They are heroes that have saved lives. We are also thankful for our partners in Tennessee and our partners with the Federal Highway Administration. We are working closely with them and have full confidence in their abilities to meet this challenge. Today I have with me Rex Vines, our Deputy Director and Chief Engineer, and I also have Steve Frisbee, our Assistant Chief Engineer for Operations. And then again, we have Dave Parker, who's our Public Information Officer. So hopefully between the four of us, we can answer any questions you may have.
You're listening to a news conference here from ARDOT officials. They are updating us on the situation. Interstate 40 bridge connecting Arkansas to Tennessee. As we learn, a significant fracture has been found on the bridge.
Movement that happens as the traffic goes across the bridge. It's just like, say, a paper clip. The more you move it and finally it breaks, it's something similar to that. It's just the constant use, the 50-year-old, it's 50 years old, and it's just,
and how many of these beams are there on that bridge?
32.
No, two on this bridge.
There's two beams.
Okay, so how big are they? I mean, how big are they? How much do they weigh?
The cross-section on those is 24 inches by 32, and they run the length of the span.
Across the river?
Yes, correct.
One continuous beam?
Yeah, it's considered, there's two continuous beams, but they're welded together or bonded together by plates, but they're considered a continuous beam.
And so how long would they be? 9,000? I mean, that bridge is 9,000.
The two spans are 900 feet, so 1,800 feet total.
So they're horizontal braces, they're not vertical braces.
Correct.
Like this beam was 900 square feet, or 900 feet, right? 900 feet.
It's 900 feet. There's two 900 feet spans.
Okay, so this is one of those two.
Yes,
And there's 4 beams all.
two beams.
Okay. There's 2 spans.
Okay, I'm with you. Yeah. Each span has two continuous beams supporting the deck.
Okay, but they're both welded. The ones on the same side are welded together.
I'm not following your question.
Just each span. Okay.
Okay,
So this is literally one of the two beams that hold up each side of the bridge.
correct. That's correct.
I guess how big are those cracks and where exactly are they located on the bridge?
This particular crack is, I don't remember the exact location. It's a few feet off of the support. Top crack, as far as you're asking how wide, I don't know if we have that information yet. It's not really, once it's cracked, it's cracked. Once the surfaces aren't touching, they're not performing correctly. So, yeah.
Before the inspection, were there any clues or signs or indicators that the bridge might be getting a lot of wear and tear?
Not particular. This crack had not shown up before.
When was the last inspection?
I believe it was September of 2020. Is that correct?
So why
No, this is a fracture critical bridge, and those we inspect annually.
Who discovered it?
Uh,
KARK.
Michael Baker International.
What about the other beam?
Well, we've looked at it. It's fine.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
we're looking into it. We're reviewing it, monitoring the bridge, but there's no indication of any other issues.
Is this something that happens quite frequently across the country with these type of bridges, or is this just something that just did happen? I mean, do we see this on bridges throughout the country?
I don't believe this is a common occurrence, no.
How thick is the beam?
The metal,
Metal on it?
I think it's ½ to 3/8, I believe, or not. I'd have to look at the shop drawings to know for sure.
About ½ an inch then.
I believe so.
What are some of the possible solutions moving forward?
that's still under investigation.
Is it a complete tear down and then build back up, or is it fixing?
We don't know that yet. We're still waiting for the diagnosis.
Well, what if the bridges are like, built like this, with those, is that pretty common, having 2 beams on each span?
No, this, I don't believe we have any others in Arkansas like this.
Why is that? Because
You know, that was designed in the 60s. That was before I was born, so I'm not sure.
Steel? Is it steel?
Yes, the beam is steel, yes.
So no timeline?
Not at this point, we don't.
and you brought in, to understand it, there's a like 2-pronged approach. I think Tennessee's working on the repair, and you guys are doing the forensics.
No, we're working together for doing the forensics. We brought in experts in the field, both Tennessee and Arkansas. They brought in experts and they're coordinating their efforts to provide a forensic and to come up with a solution.
So that's not separate from the repair, it's all together.
Right, yes, we're collaborating with them for everything.
Do we have any idea of how long that crack was there before they found it?
No, we do not.
Has there been any, excuse me, any red flags with the bridge or any concerns with it in the past?
Just like any bridge that's 50 years old, we've got, you know, we do have issues that we address as we come onto them, but nothing significant.
Traffic just could go on another bridge for now, or is there any other kind of plans?
That's really our only option at this point. Yeah.
Is that bridge capable of handling that constant load for maybe any estimated amount of time?
Yes.
When was it built?
1949.
So it's in good shape?
Yes.
How do we know that?
We've inspected it. Yeah.
When was the last inspection on that one? You know, off top?
Steve?
August, yeah, the last one on that was August 2020, and just,
Here, go ahead and take that.
just out of precaution, we're taking a look at it again, but it's also on an annual inspection cycle. And, but yes, everything's looking good with that bridge.
Where will the funding come from? Is this all shared state responsibility with federal funds paid for it?
Yes, it'll be a combination of funds. Federal Highway Administration stands ready. They contacted me yesterday. Don't worry about the funding. We're going to get that bridge up and going again. We'll figure out a way if it means we have to go straight to Washington, but we'll take care of it.
I mean, considering it's one of the main beams supporting that bridge, it just sounds like this is going to be weeks, if not months, and being close to at least the traffic on it. Can you
Well, our main goal is to ensure the safety of the road users. And then also our secondary goal is to open it as quickly as possible. And those two things will be what guides us in decisions in the near future. Hopefully there's going to be an easy fix that'll happen relatively soon, but we just can't address that right now. We will, as soon as we know that, we will let the press know.
What would be the easy fix?
The simplest method, and we have bridges that get cracks in them. It's not an unusual occurrence for small cracks, and we weld cracks back together. We can add plates, weld those in together, things like that. It's just the size of this crack is more than what's normal, so we have to get the load off of it, being that it's over the river. That makes it a challenge. You know, it's just compared to a typical bridge, this is a large bridge, one of our largest in the state. And being over river, it just makes it a challenge to repair compared to a typical repair.
I know you said you didn't have specific numbers as far as how big the actual crack is. Do you have an estimate of how big it might actually be?
Well, and I believe TDOT also shared this in their information, but so this beam is about 2 feet wide, 24 inches wide by 30-something inches tall. One entire side is cracked through. The top is cracked through. It probably propagated from the top. And the bottom has about 2 inches, so the inside is fully intact. So it's over 50% cracked through. Now again, as we mentioned, there's two other, there are only 2 main trusses on here, but there are a lot of other components to the bridge. There's girder supports, there's the vertical trusses. There's a lot of components to this bridge. It's just that this is one of the 2 key components. So we're being very cautious about it, but it is very serious.
The amount of water flowing underneath it as it rises due to increased rain, that will make a difference, correct?
I wouldn't think so, that the water flow, this bridge does flex and move, and so we have sensors and monitor the bridge, but I do not believe water flow would be any significant factor in that.
Would that make any difference as far as fixing it? Would that impede that a little bit with the increased water flow?
It's possible if we were in very serious flood conditions, but we have barge traffic. These specialty contractors that make these type repairs, they're used to building bridges in the river. They have massive cranes that sit on barges that can reach these types of things.
Where on the span is the crack? Is it close to the one side or the other, or is it in the middle?
So there's 2 spans. It's a continuous 2-span arch truss, and so half of the river is a different type of bridge structure. So the Arkansas half of the river, and if you look at it on a Google Earth photo, you'll see these 2 arches on one side of the river, and then the rest of the bridge is just more of a standard type. And so this 1,800-foot, 2 900-foot arches, there are 3 piers. It's right near the middle of that, just off to the side of the middle of the 2 arch piers.
The middle of the 2 arch piers is where it is.
So it would be 3/4 of the way across the river towards Tennessee, closer to the Tennessee side. Okay. But if you're looking at a view of it, it would be right in the middle of those 2 arches.
Would it be the north side or the south side crossing?
I do not recall. I wish I could be out there. We've got some great engineers and staff that are out there, and I was itching to go myself, but I knew I needed to be here, and so I can't speak personally on this side. I had that in my mind, and I'm just not sure. Not sure if you know, Rex.
If there was no accident, and it's just wear and tear, the other side is also like that paperclip too. This is a 50-year-old bridge. I mean, how do we know that this is actually going to be a safe bridge here? Whenever we get done with this.
Right. That's exactly part of why we are taking all these precautions, and one of the things our inspectors did immediately was look at the other side and make sure. And so as part of our repair, our forensics, we're going to have to analyze not only this location, not only the other side, but throughout the bridge to be sure that it's safe before we open it to traffic.
what kind of analyzing can you do other than looking for a crack with I guess with the drone or whatever? Or getting a super and looking under directly? Do you do any like X-rays? I don't know, anything like that?
Yes, they can X-ray. A lot of cracks in steel members are not even visible to the eye, and so we do different analysis to identify cracks. But we also, as far as the forensics, they do modeling. So it's detailed computer modeling to model the loads on these trusses and structures to determine different scenarios. It's pretty in-depth, beyond my personal expertise.
Anything else right now? In fairness to the outside media, I did say we would take some questions. Most of these have been covered previously, but one question from weather.com makes sense. From Jan Childs, was the crack in any way caused or made worse, possibly by weather?
Other than rusting that just occurs on a bridge naturally, I can't imagine that this particular crack was the weather would have affected it in particular. However, our bridges, due to expansion and contraction of temperature, that's why these bridges move, and so weather is always a factor.
I guess based just on some of the initial things that you guys have seen, do we know if this crack sort of appeared rapidly, or was it a little more over time that we know that this sort of appeared?
Well, typically cracks appear, as I said before, they are difficult to even see with the eye, some cracks, and so they appear, or they're not visible. It may take a little bit of time. It could be over a few days, but again, this is not common, the significance of this crack. We have cracks on bridges, and they're minor. We document them. They're in less important structural members, and so it's not uncommon to see cracks in steel. And that's why our bridge inspection teams are so vital to what we do, that these are trained experts that know what cracks are important and what cracks are not. But again, this one's pretty significant.
So I guess based on all that, do we have any sort of theories as to how this happened? Because if this is a pretty significant crack, I mean, last inspection, nothing was found. I mean, so what are we kind of putting out there as maybe a cause for this one? Because it sounds like it's got to be more than just wear and tear.
Yeah, at this point, that's a great question. It's just yet to be determined. We don't think it was any type of man-made cause, but there's a chance that there have been cases of barge traffic hitting bridges and causing damage. This is pretty high up, but we really believe it's the movement of the bridge. And again, cracks happen on these bridges. We're used to seeing that and documenting and repairing. There have been repairs made before on a bridge such as this. It's just that this one has gotten pretty significant, and we really don't know, but we learn every time.
Okay. Let me just say in closing that we will, at some point this afternoon, hopefully in the next hour or two, be releasing a photo or photos of the situation. So I know a lot of the media have asked about that. I understand that. So we're going to get that out to you guys as soon as possible to make all your deadlines. So, yes.
Release any drone video?
Well, what I'm talking about would be stills taken from a drone. I didn't know, I'm not aware of the drone video. So right now we would be releasing stills photos taken from a drone. So with that, thank you. I appreciate you guys coming here. If you have follow-up questions, I think you guys, most of you know how to reach me. Go through me, and I'll get answers as quickly as I can, respectful of all your deadlines. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much.
And we've been hearing from ARDOT now for the better half of 20 minutes now, learning about the significant issue that is unfolding in the Arkansas-Tennessee state line, the bridge here that you're seeing specifically, the Interstate 40 bridge. We're learning of a significant fracture That's what ARDOT officials are calling this, a significant fracture found on the bridge that is caused this immediate closure of the Interstate 40 bridge here. And we're learning that they have crews from across the country that will be responding to this bridge to try and fix it as soon as possible. But right now, the bridge is going to be closed for an unknown amount of time. We have not heard any kind of timestamp put on this just yet, but we are told that, of course, crews are going to work as quickly as possible, but no timestamp as to when this bridge will reopen. ARDOT is responsible for inspecting the bridge, so it was an ARDOT contractor that located this fracture. We're told actually called 911 to have the bridge shut down immediately. And that is what we saw yesterday as crews responded to shut this bridge down. It has, as you could imagine, created a significant road issue, traffic congestion in downtown Memphis. Interstate 55 is the only mode of transportation right now that they're detouring traffic through. I-55, they say, is in good standing. It was inspected last year, but they are reviewing it right now just to be on the safe side of everything. And what we were trying to pinpoint is, why was this crack just noticed now? Right? You have a significant fracture on the bridge that is requiring the immediate closure of this bridge. Why is it just being noticed now? You heard Jay Burr questioning that, and they say that they're still trying to figure out what caused this crack in the bridge to be at a point so significant that you have a road contractor calling 911 to close it immediately. So we're asking those questions. ARDOT saying that they don't know just yet, that they are still examining that, trying to figure it out, and that is where we're at now. ARDOT saying that they have seen instances in the past where barge traffic may have created some disruption of the bridge's integrity, but it's just too soon to know what caused it, or if this was more, if this was man-made, or if this was just wear and tear on the bridge, and it had eventually compromised the bridge's integrity. We are learning the bridge was inspected about 2 years ago, and things appear to be in good standing there. So if you're just joining us here, we were just listening to an ARDOT news conference, ARDOT officials in Little Rock holding an update on the situation unfolding on the Arkansas-Tennessee line, the Interstate 40 bridge, where we're learning that there is what they're referring to as a significant fracture in the bridge, that they had to immediately shut it down so that way they can get road crews there to fix it. But it is important to note that the bridge is going to be closed for an unknown amount of time. We have no idea on a length for when the bridge will reopen, but we are told that they are working as quickly as possible to get it fixed. I will say this, a reporter asked this question to a Tennessee Department of Transportation official, asked, are we talking weeks or are we talking months? A Tennessee Department of Transportation official, which they call TDOT, said that months could be plausible here, but again, they are not putting a timestamp on this just yet. This has been a special report from KARK4 and Fox 16 as we learn today that ARDOT is calling this a significant fracture on the Interstate 40 bridge. The state line is shut down at Interstate 40, closed in both directions due to a significant fracture. Road crews from across the country responding right now to Arkansas and Tennessee to fix the issue, but we don't know how long this bridge will remain closed. We have live continuing coverage on TV. Our next newscast at 4 o'clock on Channel 4. Breaking news as it happens all day long right here on the device that you're watching. For now, I'm Mitch McCoy. Have a good rest of your afternoon.
This has been a special report from Fox 16 and KARK4.